First impressions are uber important to get people's attention and earn those clicks and sales. But did you know it takes a potential customer less than 3 seconds to have an opinion about you and your business? And then either they're into you, or if they can't immediately see how your product or service adds value to their lives, they move on to your competitors, never to call on you again. But what if you're a new entrepreneur that doesn't have any social proof? How do you rise above the noise of an overcrowded market to stand out and turn people into raving fans of your business when nobody's ever heard of you before? Now, I've been working with brands for over 11 years, and one of the hardest things to do is to convince people to buy something that they're already getting from somebody else, or that they didn't even know they needed, especially when the one selling it is the new kid on the block. Seriously, the early stages of the entrepreneurial journey can feel like a catch-22, but there is a way to break the cycle. Now, getting people to pay attention to you is simple. Just jump up and down and shout loud enough, and trust me, they will notice you. But that can look pretty desperate and doesn't really inspire anybody to buy what you're selling. So the only surefire way to gain your audience's attention and win over their hearts and wallets is to show them what makes you different from 99% of other entrepreneurs in your field. And you do that by creating an iconic personal brand. Now, personal branding isn't only reserved for world-class athletes and celebrities like Oprah or Kim Kardashian. Social media has given rise to a wave of new influencers like Gary Vaynerchuk, Michelle Phan and Alex and Mimi Icon, who all have a ton of selling power amongst their fans. And it's possible for you to raise your profile in a similar way to gain an edge over the competition. So here's how to get started. Number 1, know your style of influence. Now, everybody naturally has a fascinating streak to their personality. When it's turned on, people find it impossible to resist. In fact, the word fascination comes from the Latin fascinare, which means to bewitch, and is one of the oldest words in written language. Research shows that when people find a brand fascinating, they're willing to pay up to 4 times more for a product, even if the product in question is a commodity item. So entrepreneurs who have figured out what makes them fascinating use the power of persuasion to influence people into paying a premium for an emotional connection to their brand, while others seem to flail around trying to copy their moves without getting the same results. Which brings me to my next tip. Number 2, don't compare yourself to the competition. Now, they say that imitation is the best form of flattery, but imagine if the Gap started comparing their jeans to Levi's. Would their denim be as popular as the competition? Maybe not. People tend to be turned off by brands that look the same as another, so if people see your product as a copy of another that's more popular, the only way you'll convince anyone to buy it is to virtually give it away for free, which means you end up damaging not only your reputation but your brand's equity. So embrace your originality as much as possible. Number 3, collaborate with established brands. When you work with a more established brand, their credibility rubs off on you, making your product or service a must-have for their customer base. So who's out there already serving your ideal audience and is in indirect competition with you? And how can you make what they're selling even better? Collaborating with brands or entrepreneurs who are a few steps ahead of you is one of the fastest ways to not only establish credibility in your field, but also build up that all-important know, like and trust factor with your audience. So to recap, how to stand out from the crowd as a new entrepreneur and build up a legion of fans totally obsessed with what you do. Number 1, know your style of influence and use the power of persuasion to make your product impossible to resist. Number 2, don't compare yourself to the competition. Instead, show people what makes you different. And number 3, collaborate with more established brands so that their credibility rubs off on you.